doctor gonna write? Together we will fight.
Fight news coming. Dana White will be live on Instagram later today announcing some fights. Some people assume that's going to be fights in December. Some think it's maybe Pantoja versus Van for the flyweight title. Maybe Volk's next fight could be announced too, but Volk was saying he might be fighting in February. Also, Dan Hooker versus Arman Sarukian was a speculated fight for November in Qatar, so some people think that will be announced as well today. UFC could be also announcing Ilya's next fight. Maybe Ilya Topuria versus Paddy Pimblett. Things are trending in that direction, according to Ariel Helwani. And Gamrot thinks if that fight did happen, that Topuria would get a KO.
It seems like we're moving towards Ilya versus Paddy for the belt. How do you feel about that? How do you feel about Paddy getting the title shot, if in fact it works out that way? And who do you think wins that fight?
Oh, I am surprised because I don't hear that. But yeah, Paddy is the, like, maybe not big name, but media for the media, he's popular, very popular. So maybe that's why he get this fight. Interesting matchup, but I think Topuria will knock him out, because his chin is always high. Topuria, so his BJJ skills is really good against the Charles, and sometimes I see his video in the training, so his jiu-jitsu skill is good. I think Topuria will knock him out.
UFC does need to announce more fights between ranked lightweights. The only ones that they have right now is the Fiziev versus Oliveira fight, which takes place next weekend. And then next month, you have Beneil Dariush versus Benoit Saint-Denis. Rashid Vagabov won on the Contender Series. A dominant decision victory. Some people calling him the great value Khabib, though. But he didn't get a UFC contract because Dana didn't find the fight exciting enough, entertaining enough for him. Maybe I didn't get the contract this time is what Vagabov says, but this will not stop me. The goal remains the same. Break into UFC, become a champ. I'd like to thank my friends and sponsors for their support. It wasn't given today. I'll take it tomorrow. Rashid Vagabov was really feeling himself during the fight. He was doing quite well, and he was talking to Dana in between rounds. I guess he was really confident that he was going to get a UFC contract, but it didn't work out that way.
Talking to me during the fight, telling me you're going to be a world champion while you're having a tough time beating the guy who was a 7-1 underdog. Not tonight, my friend. Maybe again. You're obviously a talented guy. Get back in the gym and maybe we'll see you again. You're young.
Whether or not you get signed on the Contender Series sometimes just has to do with your backstory, because last week you could have made the argument that Hector Souza's victory on the Contender Series was quite a boring win, but he had a very touching and motivational and inspirational story and was an underdog also as part of that story. And Dana White did end up signing him, so sometimes you get signed based on your backstory, how Dana White's feeling about you, Dana White's mood that day, which is fortunate for some who do get signed and unfortunate for others who don't have that same ability to pull on the heartstrings of Dana White and sway his decision and get into the UFC. For Vagabov, his best bet is just to stay ready and take a short notice fight when the UFC needs one. Even stay ready to fight this weekend. Guys are always pulling out of fights. There's 14 fights on the card on Saturday. By fight night, who knows how many they're going to be. Guys are always pulling out of fights up until the day of the fight. So as long as Vagabov is ready to go, he could get into UFC easily by taking a short notice fight and maybe even get a better contract than 10-10. Brian Battle has his next battle set. He's going to be taking on Nick Coring in a middleweight contest at Dirty Boxing 4 in Nashville, Tennessee. That's at the end of this month. Thursday, October 30th, Battle's second fight in Dirty Boxing. He fought a month ago. They fed him a can. Is Nick Coring a can? I don't know. He has some experience in MMA. He's been fighting 16 years. Coring has a record of 13-2. He has some bare knuckle boxing experience as well. Battle versus Coring will be contested in the middleweight division. Will Brian Battle make weight? I don't know. He did make weight for his Dirty Boxing debut, so maybe he will as well. That's the co-main event. The main event is going to be Gable Stevenson versus Billy Swanson. Heavyweight contest. Gable Stevenson making his Dirty Boxing debut. He's backed by John Jones, who's also a part owner of BKFC. Maybe a conflict of interest there. I don't know. Who knows? But John Jones will also be doing a meet and greet at the event. Dirty Boxing Thursday, October 30th. Ankalaev says, this second fight is not a chance for him to win. It's a chance for me to finish him early, to dominate Alex Pereira. In the first fight, he hurt Alex at one point, I believe in the second round. Aside from that, there was no chance of a finish for either guy. Usman thinks this will be an entirely stand-up fight.
He's his own type of Dagestani fighter that loves to strike, that loves to pick people apart and get them out of there. That is who Magomed Ankalaev is. He's not the Dagestani wrestler that's going to come in there, level change, show you level changes, take you down, and just beat your face down while you're down in there. He's not that guy. We saw him struggle to take Pereira down the first fight. That's not the case. That's not what's going to happen here. He's not. Ankalaev is very, very good and seasoned striker to where this is where he likes to be. This is where he's been for years now. This is where he likes to conserve his energy. This is him because he also understands that by giving these continuous takedown attempts, I'm going to get tired as well. And so I don't think we're going to see that. I think they're both going to stand there and they're both going to go to war.
Usman wasn't happy with Dean Thomas saying that the UFC should trade Magomed Ankalaev to the PFL for Dakota Ditchfield. Kind of a wild take for a UFC employee to say, but Dean Thomas doubled down on that and tripled down on that statement.
I do think that will be a good addition to the UFC whenever should that time arise and present itself. I do think the UFC would be interested in her. But, of course, right now she's under contract with the PFL. She's doing phenomenal things there. So we give her props and we let her stay there. But to say that you should trade a champion like Magomed Ankalaev, Dean Thomas, me and you need to wrestle. Next time I see you, we wrestling. We wrestling, all right? Unc to nephew, we gonna wrestle because I don't like what you said that. Don't talk about my boy Ankalaev like that, bro. All right, bro, Henry, we're gonna let him slide until we see him in person. Then we can run up on him.
Murad Dvalishvili still seems to have some anger towards Umar Nurmagomedov. If I have to fight Umar next, I'm confident I'll break him this time. Beat him clean. Our last fight wasn't like that. I was controlling things and won without taking unnecessary risks or headaches. But I won't let him off so easily in the octagon next time. I'll break him in the first minute and a half. Then I'll drag him around the octagon for the remaining 23.5 minutes like a sack. Even after losing, he didn't learn his lesson. I don't even think Umar really said anything after the fight. I'm not sure what Murad's referring to. But if they could rematch if Murad beats Corey this weekend and Umar beats Batista next. For the UFC White House show in June, they'll need to spend $700,000 just to fix the grass after the event. There's going to be 5,000 people there, and the octagon is also going to be a lot of tonnage on that lawn.
But I do feel like he's fought a lot of aggressive guys, and I think Gane is a guy who's going to do a lot of movement. He's going to be a little more cautious and you know, just moving around a lot. It might frustrate Tom, you know, so first, second, third round, maybe Tom can't find Cyril Gane, so I think it's going to be a different fight. We'll see. Really don't know. We'll have to see. You know, obviously my body gets heavier. I don't know how long I can cut to 205, so we're just going to have to see and take it fight by fight.
ما عاد عمون احساس وجود عوائد والله لا انت وين عشان فيديو المهم